Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over this new Predator generator that has just came out within the last year. This one is an open frame inverter generator. So typically when you're looking at a generator, you're either looking at an inverter generator or you're looking at an open frame like a construction type generator. But this one kind of combines the best of both worlds. You get the nice clean sine energy of the typical inverter generator. It's quiet like an inverter generator, but it's also a cheaper price like the external frame generator. These are heavier, but they do offer different varieties of attachments, wheels, and different things like that for ease of use and pulling those around to deal with that weight. Now, whenever we're looking at these generators, I typically recommend at least 4,500 watts. If you're wanting to run, let's say, the air conditioner on a 30 amp travel trailer, which is exactly what this one is for. So you can run that, you can charge your batteries, you can run any different types of electronic devices that you want to do, and this is going to have plenty of juice to get that done for you. So let's go ahead, we're going to open this one up, we're going to fire it up, and I'm going to give you my initial thoughts. When we're opening this one up, what we want to do, we want to go through, we want to get the oil in it, we want to get the gas in it, we want to inspect everything, and so that's what we're going to do first. We're going to inspect, let's see here, we'll check down here, just check the oil, so the oil is empty. Right, and you just want to make sure all the rubbers and everything are where they are supposed to go. Everything looks good, so we're going to fill it up with gas. I say that you want to check all that out because once you fill it up with gas, believe it or not, Harbor Freight might give you a hard time if something was broken or if this one was returned and had some issues. Harbor Freight might give you a hard time if you put gas in it and try to run it before you figure that out. We're going to fill this with gas, we're going to put oil in it, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to fire that up. All right, now that we've gone ahead and we've added some fuel in it, I only went ahead and added maybe about a gallon of gas. I'm looking here, the fuel capacity on this one is 3.8 gallons. I put about a gallon in it. The gallon took me there. So I'm about 1/4 with 1 gallon in, so half, 3/4, and full. Now, opening up our owner's manual again, I'm gonna look in here, let's see, engine oil, it takes a 10W30, and it only takes 0.6 quarts, which is a very hard number to hit, especially when you're pouring out of like a gallon jug like this. But to help with that, I do recommend picking up a funnel like this. You can see it's got 8 ounces, 12 ounces, 16, 20. It's got milliliters on the other side. So I'm actually gonna be looking for just a little under 20 ounces with this one. The cool thing is I can fill it up to that 20 ounce mark. I can insert this into the filling hole, and then I can turn this from off to on, and it will drain and fill itself up. So that makes things very handy. Otherwise, you can eyeball it, you can use another cup, some sort of measuring cup and things like that, but this is a great little funnel to have. All right, we got the oil in it, so we contain any spills. We didn't have very much, just a few little drops and things on the ground. But now we're about ready to fire this thing up. We're going to look down here. You can see that you have your fuel shutoff valve. So we have an off position, we have an on position. We also have a manual choke. I recommend every single time you start it to pull this out. Once this starts, then you can push this in, it should smooth out and start to run a lot better. And as we're looking, there are plenty of instructions. So if you're ever trying to troubleshoot this, you don't have the manual with you, you can't get it started, right? Check your oil, check your gas, choke, fuel valve. Make sure you got the on switch on, and it goes on and tells you what to do before you're running this. Now, let's go ahead and let's look at the front of this thing. So we have our starter. This is whenever you're getting ready to start it, you need to make sure that this is in the on position to start. We have our economy or emissions, or I don't know what ESC, it's got to stand for something. Emissions, something, control throttle. When this is engaged, it keeps it from revving up at, crazy high RPMs and, tries to keep it in that carb compliant, right? Thank you, California. But we have our output indicator. So when this is green, it means that the electricity coming out of it is good. We have an overload right here, which will turn red if you have too much load on the generator itself. And we also have the low oil alarm, okay? While we're talking about these alarms, we have our main breaker here, and we have 2 20 amp breakers there. Okay, you've got your grounding stud here for whenever you're running off of a platform or things like that. And then we have 5 volt USB You never know when you're gonna need it. One is 2.1 amp output, one is 1 amp output. And we have our parallel operation connection here, so in case you wanna run two of these together for running a higher load, this is where you would do it. And just taking a look at the receptacles, right? We have our 20 amp outlet here, 20 amp outlet there, and then we also have our 30 amp outlet for connecting, let's say, to a RV or a trailer or something that's going to be drawing a lot more amperage. And these two are both GFCI switched. So we have the fuel on, we have the manual choke out. Now you want to come down here where it says starter, and we want to flip that to the on position so that it will let this fire right on up. So let's go ahead and let's see how it fires up in the first pull. First pull from the factory, fired right up. All right, so now you come over here, you can see how it's idling. You push this choke in, and it smooths right on out. Now, before you start giving me a hard time about running this in my garage, this is my garage, right? So I have two doors on each side. I recommend running this in a well-ventilated area. So don't worry, there's plenty of airflow in here. I've got the other garage door open on the other side. So you can see to kill it, I just flipped that switch to the off position. It is the only color-coded switch up here. This one is red, and so that shows you, on and off and all that other stuff. Now we're gonna go ahead. I just went and grabbed my pancake air compressor. This is something I might carry with me in the bed of my truck or on long trips or things like that, just either to run small air tools or to air up your tires in case you have a flat. So we're gonna see how well this handles it. Whenever you are starting your generator and you're getting ready to run some power off it, I recommend unplugging everything. You don't want it to start up under a load. And so I'm gonna fire this one up and then I'm gonna plug everything in and we're gonna see how well that does. Ignition switch on, make sure you choke it. So as you can see, that pancake air compressor didn't have any issues running with this generator. Now, it is only about 1800 watts, which is about half the capacity of the 3650 running watts. But, that just gives you an idea. It didn't have a whole bunch of engine rev up. You may want me to hook this thing up and run some more wattage through it and see what the max peak is on something like this. But we have to remember that we do have a break-in period on new generators. This one in particular does have about a 30-hour break-in, at which they do not recommend exceeding about 75% of the maximum wattage. It doesn't say if it's max peak wattage or if it's running wattage. I'm gonna go with running wattage just to be safe. So 30 hours, that is not 30 hours of owning the generator, that is 30 hours of continuous runtime. So if you start it for 20 minutes here, you start it for 20 minutes there, you start it for 20 minutes again, that's only 1 hour. So you gotta do that 30 times. You have to run through that cycle 30 times. So keep that in mind. That's how you seat your piston rings. That's how you seat everything that's moving on the inside of that engine to ensure that you're going to enjoy the long life that these generators will give you. All right, as we're looking at this, we get some accessories with this. They give you a nice little handy funnel that's kind of offset at 45 degrees or something. We didn't use this, but you could. You get your basic adapter for your RV setup, so this will lock you into that 30 amp outlet that's on there, right? And you get your little handy dandy spark plug tool, which I always recommend carrying an extra spark plug. With these here, you change altitude, you're in different conditions, different load operations. Speaking of changing altitudes, you do get 2 extra jets for your carburetor. Now, there are instructions on how to change each of those, and these are labeled. So this one here is for 3,000 to 6,000 feet, and this one here is for 6,000 to 8,000 feet. So it's pretty simple. The bowl drops off the carburetor, and you can take these out. I believe they come out with, they come out with the flathead screwdrivers, so these will just come out, and they go right back in. It takes you about 5-10 minutes to swap these out and you're good to go on those different elevations. I do recommend just consolidating everything, putting everything in one bag. That way you have that with you, put your spark plug in there and anything else you might think of. All right, I think that is about it. So if any of this was helpful, make sure you hit that like button. If you want to check out some of my other videos, travel trailer stuff, truck stuff, tons of fishing stuff, you want to check any of that out, make sure you check it out. And if you like it, consider subscribing. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. And if you do have any additional questions, stick it in the comments and I'll get right to you.